All right, here we are, Tuesday morning, slow flow. So this style of class is a little bit different than yesterday. We're just gonna move a little bit slower, hold those poses a little bit longer. What's nice about this style of class is it kind of takes it into that from more physical to more meditative, right? As we're in those longer holds, it can be more of a challenge to stay present in the moment. So it's really important that we circle back to the breath as much as we need to. And remember, as we go through class, the breath should be in and out through the nose, slow and controlled as best we can. All right, I like to start our Tuesday class with alternate nostril breathing. So in this style of pranayama, we take index finger, middle finger on the forehead, ring finger will cover or close the left nostril when it's time, and then thumb will close the right. So we'll start by exhaling all the breath out, and then we'll close the left nostril, we'll inhale through the right nostril for 6, and then we hold at the top for 4. Close the right side, exhale through the left side for 6. Hold it out of the body for 2. Inhale through the left side, 6. Hold in the body for 4. Exhale through the right side for 6. Hold out of the body for 2. So that's one whole round of our alternate nostril breathing. All right, so before we get started into that, just take a moment to sit up nice and tall. Twist a little bit. Just kind of see how you're feeling so far this morning, right? Always a little bit different. As we arrive on our mats, we try our best to come without expectation and just intending to do our best, our dedication to our practice, and trust the process. All right, tilt your pelvis forward a little bit, lift your chest. Tuck your chin slightly. It's really just working with the natural curve of the spine, lengthening through the crown of the head. All right, let's just take one big breath in through the nose, out through the mouth, and then we'll get started. So we'll take a big slow inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. All right, let's bring index finger and middle finger to the forehead. Sitting up tall. Exhale all the breath out. Close the left side, inhale through the right side for 6. Hold at the top for 4. Close the right side, exhale through the left side for 6. Hold outside of the body for 2. Inhale. Hold for 4. Exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Hold for 4. Exhale through the left. Hold for 2. Inhale through the left. Hold. Exhale through the right. Hold for 2. Inhale through the right. Hold for 4. Exhale through the left. Hold for 2. Inhale. Hold for 4. Exhale. Release that right hand down. Take a big breath in through the nose. And out through the mouth. All right, wonderful. We're going to turn around and lie on our backs to start here this morning. And just pick what side is the top of your mat, what side is the bottom. And here, just taking a moment to realign the spine, bringing the heels together, letting the toes fall out. Arms are beside you with the palms face up. So this is called Shavasana, corpse pose. All right, let your gaze soften. Take a breath in and out through the nose. Now press your lower back down, bend up your knees. We're going to bring the knees in and just take a loose grip around the top of the knees, right? Because we're still just kind of warming up. So you should feel a release in your back. Try to tuck your chin slightly. I like to move a little bit here side to side, so if that feels good for you, do it. And then let go of the left leg, let it come all the way down to the mat. We're gonna grab onto the right knee. I'm just pulling that knee out to the side, towards the shoulder. Roll your ankle a few times and move your toes. All right, take a big breath. Hi, baby. There's Vaseline by my bed, I think. There's Vaseline either by your bed or my bed or downstairs on the table by the stairs. Yeah, get some Vaseline. All right, we'll take another big breath in. Exhale, pull, knee to shoulder. And release the tension. We're going to grab the outside of the foot. I'm just coming into a half happy baby here, nice and slow. Remember, we never want to force any range of motion the body's not ready for, especially in the beginning of class. We're just warming up. Right, seeing how things are feeling this morning. Big inhales, big exhales. All right, we're gonna extend the leg. I want you to grab, what's it called? On the back of your thigh, just to start here. You're gonna pull in. See how that feels. If you want to slide to the back of your calf, you can. But remember too that when we're on our back, like this, we kind of take out the flexibility of the back in this hamstring stretch and really focus on the back of the leg. So don't be in a rush. And it's the beginning of class, so just be kind to yourself. Big breath in. Big breath out. Slowly here, we're going to grab the knee, bend up your left knee. Just putting your right ankle on your left knee. We're going to grab the back of the left leg. So just getting into some hip stretches here. And try to soften your gaze in one spot. Take a big inhale. Big exhale. So release, we're going to switch the legs out. So we'll grab just the left knee this time, letting that right leg go all the way down the mat. Ooh. Pulling the knee to the shoulder, move your ankle, move your toes. And try to tuck your chin, flatten out the back of the neck. Number 2, getting that compression in the hip is really good for your digestive system, your immune system. We all need that, right? Half happy, baby. I'm very sore this morning still, so we're gonna take it nice and slow. Honor your body. Trust the process, don't force it. Big deep breath. A little deeper into that hip if you can. I'll take one more inhale. Big exhale. Oh. Send that leg up to the sky. And just start here. Flex the toes. If you feel ready for it, you can slide the hands to the back of the calf. Big inhales, big exhales. Carefully, I'm gonna bend up the right knee, bring that left ankle on the right knee. And then we'll grab the back of that right leg. And try to flex your left toes just so you protect your knee there. Big breath in and out. Take another inhale. Big exhale. Let's release. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together. Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined Cobbler's pose. Ooh. Close your eyes. Bring one hand on your belly and one hand on your heart, if you like, or both hands on the belly, whatever's comfortable. But sometimes getting that physical connection with the breath, feeling your belly rise and fall, helps to settle the mind a little more. Make sure there's not too much strain on the back, so you can always go feet further away from your body, if that feels better on the back. So just listen. Our goal is always that we feel better when we're done. That's why we practice yoga, right? To take care of ourselves. Big breath in. Big breath out. Slowly bring the knees together. Now we're going to pick up the feet. Take your arms out to the side just for support. You're going to drop both knees to the left. Just gentle twist. Bring left hand on that right knee and then turn your head to the right. Big inhale. Big exhale. One more time, inhale. And big exhale. My Arms out to the side, knees up. I'm going to adjust myself a little bit here and then over to the right. And we have the left arm out. Take a big breath. Take another inhale. And a big exhale. And we'll come on back to center. Let's plant the feet. We'll reach down, touch the heels, coming into a bridge pose. Set to Bandha Sarvangasana. Interlace your hands if that feels good. Get a little space. Try to pull your chin away from your chest. Big toes, little toes, heels all pressing down. Make sure toes are pointing straight back, just like the knees. Come on out. Tailbone last. Let's extend those legs here just for a sec. Big inhale. Big exhale. Okay, let's do transitional steps. So flex the feet. Inhale the arms up overhead. Sit up, exhale. It's coming into a forward fold. I'm going to scoot back just a little bit here. Try to relax your head. You can pull with your arms, like me here. I'm more of a active stretch is what they call it, because here is passive, where you're using your strength of another body part to pull you deeper into your stretch. Active is where you're just allowing the body to open on its own without that external force. I'm tight this morning. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Stay here. Big breath in. And big breath out. All right, let's rise up. I'm going to turn to face the front here. You can stay facing the side or top of your mat if you like, or bottom. Whew. Bring the soles of the feet together for a sec. So this is just Baddha Konasana, right cobbler's pose, reclined cobbler's pose, relying on our back. As you inhale, try to lengthen and straighten your back. Think about tilting your pelvis forward. As you exhale, flat back, press your chest towards your feet. All right, and you may have a bigger range of motion than me this morning. Just listen to your body, but find that edge here where you can keep the back flat. Get that big stretch. And we're using the breath to open the body, finding that space. One more inhale. And big exhale. All right, let's lean back. We're going to take out just the right leg. All right, if you do yoga with me often, you know these are one of my favorites. I try to do a few every single day. I feel like they're really good for you. Let's take the arms up. Separate legs stretching to the right. Round down, grab that foot. If the hamstrings are tight and we can't get an interlace grip on the bottom of the foot, it's best to bend the knee. All right, our goal here is evenly stretching the back of the leg and the lower back. Try to square off your shoulders. If you're open enough and your elbows come all the way to the ground and you know you're pretty much squared off, if you're still kind of hovering on there, in the air, bring your left shoulder down just a little bit. We'll get a few cycles of breath here. Try to pull that left hip forward so even the hips are squared off. Separate your teeth, relax your face. What we want to try to avoid here is where you can't really grab your foot. You're going to force that stretch. And it's better to have a proper alignment and a smaller range of motion, or not as deep, right? And then improper alignment and going for it. All right, we'll switch sides. And just as gracefully as you can. I'm kind of sore this morning, so I'm not moving that gracefully. Square off. I think I'm so funny. Arms up, around, down. Again, if we can't get all 10 fingers in the bottom of the foot, just bend that knee a little bit. Right, and we want to open up the back of the leg and the lower back. So see if you can squeeze your quad. As you contract the front of the leg, it sends a little message to the back of the leg to open up, right? So as we contract the front, more space on the back. Same with the belly, right? As we pull the belly in, it gets more space for the lower back. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, round. Inhale. Oh. Exhale. And we always have one side that's a little bit more open than the other. For the longest time, it was always my right leg, and at some point in the last, I don't know, 4 months, 5 months, it has switched to where my left side is more open than my right side. All right, we'll come into a straddle here. Whew. So just sitting up tall for a moment, tilt your pelvis forward. And so tilt your pelvis forward, try to externally rotate the legs. As we come forward, they're probably going to come forward a little bit, but try to start with those feet strong, toes up or even back if that range of motion is available. We're just going to hold here for a moment. As we inhale, that long straight spine. Exhale a little deeper. We're going to do our side stretches first before we come forward here. So that right hand comes on the inside of the right calf. If it's available, your elbow can come all the way to the ground. If not, just going to hover that guy up. And we're going to take the left arm, internally rotate, reach over. Try to press your shoulder down your back. So similar stretch here is our extended supported side plank, right? When we lift the leg and the arm. We're reaching forward, but pressing that shoulder down the back. Switch sides, left hand down, right arm up, internally rotate. So bring that pinky forward and reach. Try not to let your right sit bone lift up. So what happens sometimes too is if we're a little bit tight, as we reach over, that weight comes out of that right cheek there. Just do your best to keep them both down. Again, press the shoulders away from the ears, look up. Big breath. And we'll come on back to center. All right, now we're going to come forward. So we got hands either on the toes or hands forward. I prefer the hands forward just because I feel like I get a little bit better control, right? Usually I'm pretty flexible. Right now I'm really tight, but so I prefer the hands down so I can control how fast I come down. If you'd rather have your hands on your toes, that's perfect too, but just do what's best for you. Find the spot you can hold for a moment. Lengthen the neck, shoulders down the back. Soften your face. Remember, inhale, long, straight spine. Exhale, fold. Just a few more rounds of breath here. One more big inhale. And big exhale. All right, let's rise up. Take both legs towards the top of the mat. Shake them out a little bit, especially the hips here. We're gonna roll onto our right hip as we bend our left knee. So half fixed firm or reclining here. I'm actually gonna scoot a little bit closer to the top of my mat. So for me, I like it better if I can turn my toe or my calf muscle out of the way, kind of roll it to the side. And then just make sure your toes are going straight back and not out to the left, right? And stay here. We can drop to the elbows. Lift your chest, drop your head back. Or we can come all the way down. And then grab opposite elbows. Just listen to your body. We're gonna be here for a few rounds of breath, so you wanna make sure that it's not painful to come into your full expression here. Big stretch on the front of the leg, compression of the knee and the ankle, but no pain. Separate your teeth, soften your face. Be here with the breath. Another big inhale. And big exhale. All right, let's use our inhale to come on up. Switch out the legs. Ow, this one hurts a little bit. Bend the right knee, toes going back. And we'll come on to the elbows. And just adjust yourself, right? If you need to make little adjustments as you come down, do it. If you need to stay here, you can stay here. Or we inch ourselves all the way down. Again, remember one side is more open than the other. For some weird reason, it's my left side now. Bring the arms over the head. And close your eyes if that feels good. See if you can flatten out the lower back just a little bit as things start to open. All right, so again, like I was saying before, as we contract the front of the body, contract the belly, the lower back will soften. All right, relax a little bit, get more space. So we think about bringing the ribs, the bottom of the ribs together, and then pulling the hips up towards the ribs so we get that nice strong belly. One more big breath. And then out the same way, elbows, hands onto the left leg as you extend out that right leg. We'll just shake them out a little bit. All right, let's keep the left leg bent. We're gonna come into half Lord of the Fish here. We're gonna keep left leg bent, right leg's gonna come on the outside of the left knee. So nice spine twist here. Right hand's gonna come behind your back. As you inhale, reach that left arm up to the sky. As you exhale, hook your elbow on your knee, look over your right shoulder. As you inhale, lengthen, straighten the back. Exhale, twist. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist, twist. Let's go one more big breath, sit up tall. And twist. Untwist. Let's counter twist to the other side. So place your right elbow on the inside of that right knee. Open your chest to the left. Switch. Right leg straight, left leg bent. I didn't realize how many times I like to sing my cues. It was pointed out to me recently. Left hand behind the back, right arm up and over. My yoga students from a long time ago told me I sing when I teach, which I think is hilarious because I don't even notice I do it. Both sit bones down, inhale, lengthen. And exhale, twist. As you inhale, maybe come out of that twist just a little. And exhale. Release. We'll bring the left elbow on the inside, little counter twist. Whoa. That's nice. All right, let's cross the ankles. We're gonna come forward onto hands and knees. Hurt my toe the other day. Still doesn't feel good. Just beating myself up. All right. And we'll just move here for a moment. Hip to shoulder, hip to shoulder. Some big circles with the head. And back to center. All right, so middle fingers are pointing straight ahead. We're just gonna work or stretch our neck a little bit here. So I want you to externally rotate your arms, right? So think about inside of the elbows pulling forward. Press away from the floor, belly in nice and tight. Think about rounding your shoulder blades. So space in between the shoulder blades, okay? And then we're going to take the right ear to the right shoulder. So you should feel a stretch on the left side of your neck and even into your shoulder just a little bit on the left side. Belly in tight. Remember, we're rounding the back just slightly, pressing away from the floor, strong arms. And then back to neutral, back to center, other side. And you should feel that stretch on the right side. The back of the neck is long, so the gaze is down. So it's just in a natural position there. And then back to center. Let's exhale, round the back, tuck the chin. Inhale, chin up, tailbone up. Exhale, around. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round. Release. Scoot the knees back a little bit. We'll curl the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Hips high.
Externally rotate the arms, press the chest back, hips back, heels low. Holding some stillness in downward facing dog to start, and just really feel it in your body. Activate the arms, the upper back. Pull your belly in tight, squeeze your legs. Press your heels down. If you can touch your mat, get a longer stance, right? To keep that stretch active, you want a little bit of space between the heels and the mat. Inhale high onto the toes. Really open up the feet. And then press those heels back down. Stretch through the calves, back of the legs. And as we have these longer holds, use it as an opportunity to take your, traditional kind of habitual range of motion just that a little bit farther, right? Create some more space. Let's open up the hip. You can bend your knee. We're gonna make our way into Pigeon Pose. Right knee all the way up. Left leg goes back. So it's important in our pigeon that we are in the center. So even if we don't come down quite as far as we're used to or we want to make sure that the hips are squared off. When we get to little tight hips, we kind of roll to one side. Usually it's the bent knee cheek you're gonna roll onto, so just be aware, stay in the middle. Line your knee up with your shoulder, your heel up with your hip, and then come onto your elbows. If it's available, you can come all the way down. Bring your forehead to your hands. And just seeing what kind of space we have, and come all the way down, extending arms, head comes to the mat. And if we want to go even deeper, that left arm can come underneath the right arm, pressing into that shoulder. If we've twisted, untwist. Come back to your elbows. So we're just going to try a different variation. If it doesn't feel good in your body today, just stay here. Otherwise, I want you to start to walk your hands over to the left side. Right, and just find where your range of motion is. I'm going to stay here, but the next step is to bring your elbow on the bottom of your right foot. And then your left hand to your right hand. So an open twist here in our pigeon. Right, if that's not quite available, just stay lifted and look over for your left foot. Try to keep that internal rotation in the left leg. Carefully come on out back to center. And then King Pigeon here. We'll lift the chest, drop the head back. Option to interlace the hands. And just seeing whatever feels good. Always a little different. Flex the toes, press back maybe. Slowly come on out. We're going to curl the left toes under so we can come back to our three-legged dog. Stretch, open up that knee. If you have space and you want to find a half wheel, you can. I'm a little bit close to the wall, but let's see. Oh yeah, I can sneak in there. Nice little back bend there feels good. We'll come back to our three-legged dog just for a moment, nice and strong. And right foot comes down, downward facing dog. Right foot 2 inches closer to center line, left leg lifts. And remember too, as we come into our three-legged dog, it's not about the height here to begin with. We're just trying to square off, really. So it's the bottom of the foot to the sky. Hip is down, right heel pressing to the mat. Big deep breath. And then we can open it up, find that space. Try to still keep your shoulders square, even though that hip is going up and open and moving around. Alrighty, bring that knee up. Right leg goes back. Square yourself off. And as you're ready, you can come onto the elbows. Pause here for a moment if you need to. Shoulders away from the ears. If it's available, come all the way down. You can rest your forehead on your hands or your forehead to your mat. No rush. If you did it on the first side, you can take your right arm under for that twist. For some reason, this knee does not want me to go any deeper than this morning. So if it's in your practice, do the twist. I did it on the first side, but this side it's just not going to happen. So we just honor wherever we are. If we've twisted, we'll untwist. And then coming back to the elbows. So just like we did on the other side, try to keep the internal rotation on the right leg, but just walk your hands over to the right. It's kind of an awkward little twist, but it feels good. If you can bring your left elbow to the bottom of your left foot and hands together, heart center, do it. Come on back to center. We're going to find us a variation on King Pigeon. So then we can stay here. Interlace. Or grab the leg. What did I do on that first side? So I did this variation where you interlace your hands on the shin, press the chest back. All right, let's come on out. Right toes curl under. We're going to send that left leg all the way up. Jeez. Open up the knee and the hip. You can flip it over. Oh, yeah. And three-legged dog. And step the left foot up. Followed by the right foot. Let's take a ragdoll, bend the knees, grab the elbows. Move a little bit side to side, back and forth. Overhead and the arms are just heavy, pulling us towards the floor, creating space in the lower back. Release the hands. Stretching out the shoulders, we'll interlace the fingers. Get some space. Release the hands all the way down. We're going to take the heels out, in, and the toes out. Drop the hips into Malasana, maybe. My inner thighs are very, very sore, so we'll see how this works. Using some movement, and then settling. Again, find a variation you can hold for a few cycles of breath. Tuck your chin, press your knees out, weight is in your heels. Big breath in. Big breath out. One more time, inhale. Big exhale. We're going to plant the hands. Straighten out the legs. Stepping back to a high plank. We're going to lower halfway to a chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Stretch those hip flexors, look up. And downward facing dog. Making your way onto your back. Bring your heels high, bend your knees, hop. And then roll on back. Take a moment here, realign your spine, heels together, toes out. Eyes are open. All right, let's bend up the knees. We're going to take the feet up to the sky. So if you want to come into a shoulder stand or a headstand, you totally can. Otherwise, stay right here with me. Separate your teeth. Soften your face. Big breath. And if you're in legs up variation like me, see if you can press your lower back into your mat, flex your toes. And then point your toes, squeeze those legs tight. And release. We're going to grab onto our right knee, let the left leg go long. A little supine twist, hold in tight. Roll it over, stack your hips, bring that knee all the way to the ground, right arm out, look to the right. Big inhale. Big exhale. Come on out. Switcheroo. Grab your left knee. Hold it tight. Squeeze and roll it over. Oh, left arm out, turn your head, close your eyes. Big deep breath. And release. Both knees come in. Pull them in, squeeze them tight. And then release. Let the legs go, let the arms go into Shavasana. So roll your head. Get your shoulders down your back, away from your ears. Sink and soften into your mat. Let's take one more big inhale.
And big exhale. Close your mouth. And just let the breath find its normal pace in and out through your nose. So here in our final Shavasana, we are the observer of the breath. Right, we no longer need to force it or slow it or anything. Just aware of it as it comes in and out through the nose. Letting the body completely surrender into the mat. I'd like you to stay here for at least 2 minutes if you can. And just try not to rush. Enjoy these last few moments for yourself. Soak it all in. Thank you so much for being with me this morning. I hope you enjoyed class. I hope you feel great. Hope you have a wonderful day. Hope I see you tomorrow. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. See you later.